Here's a step-by-step guide to rendering a Manhattan skyscraper in 3D. 1. Conceptualization and Planning. Define the scope. Determine the overall style, dimensions, and purpose of the skyscraper. This involves sketches or floor plans to understand its form and functions. Gather reference material. Collect architectural references, photos of actual Manhattan skyscrapers, and floor plans to inform the design. 2. Modeling in 3D software. Choose a software. Popular tools include SketchUp, 3ds Max, Blender, or Revit. Create the base structure. Start with the building's footprint, establishing the ground level and outline. Extrude the building mass. Use the extrude tool to create the height and primary massing of the skyscraper. Add details. Model windows, doors, and exterior elements like balconies, roof structures, or antennae. For a Manhattan skyscraper, integrate the specific architectural elements seen in real-life examples, e.g., sleek glass facades. 3. Adding textures and materials. Assign materials. Use textures for glass, steel, concrete, and other materials that match the real-world Manhattan skyscraper aesthetic. UV mapping. Ensure materials and textures align properly with the model using UV mapping techniques. Add details. For realism, add bump maps for fine details such as window frames, facade textures, and imperfections. 4. Lighting setup. Establish daylight system. Simulate natural New York City lighting by placing a sun or sky system for realistic daylight effects. Add artificial lights. For night renders, add interior lights, street lights, and any skyline lighting typically seen in NYC skyscrapers. Tweak shadows. Adjust shadow settings for a realistic fall of light on and around the building. 5. Environment setup. Create the surrounding cityscape. Include nearby buildings or even low-poly background structures to reflect the dense Manhattan skyline. Add ground features. Add sidewalks, roads, and other ground-level features to integrate the skyscraper within the context of New York. Include skyscraper reflection. Use environment maps to reflect surrounding buildings on the skyscraper's glass. 6. Camera and composition set. Camera angles. Place cameras to capture dramatic angles or iconic skyline views that highlight the height and detail of the skyscraper. Adjust field of view. Create wide-angle or close-up shots depending on the emphasis, full building or detailed facade. 7. Rendering setup. Choose render engine. Use V-Ray, Arnold, Lumion, or Unreal Engine for realistic renders. Set resolution. Decide on resolution depending on the project requirements, e.g., 4K renders for marketing or web display. Optimize settings. Adjust for global illumination, reflection, and anti-aliasing to ensure high-quality results without excessive render times. 8. Post-production use. Photoshop or After Effects. Enhance renders with color grading, depth of field, and effects like motion blur. Add people, cars, and sky. Composite these into the scene to give a realistic feel of scale and activity in Manhattan. 9. Final presentation. Prepare multiple views. Render a variety of perspectives, day and night views, close-ups of architectural features, and distant cityscape shots. Create an animation. Optional. If needed, create an animation walkthrough showcasing the skyscraper's exterior and interior. By following these steps, you can achieve a detailed and professional 3D rendering of a Manhattan skyscraper.